Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're digging into a hidden force that's working on your money right now, 24/7. It's kind of like an engine that can either quietly build you a fortune or dig you into a really deep financial hole. Yep, we're talking about compound interest.
You know, let's kick things off with this quote, which is often credited to Albert Einstein. It just perfectly captures the two-sided nature of compound interest and why getting a handle on it isn't just for Wall Street folks. It's for everybody.
So, here's our game plan. We'll start with what Einstein meant by his wonder. Then we'll pit simple and compound growth against each other, watch the snowball effect in action, break down the formula behind it, and finally see how this engine is running in your own life.
Okay, so what on earth did Einstein mean by calling this the eighth wonder? Well, he was pointing out that compound interest is an incredibly powerful tool. But, like any tool, it all depends on which end of it you're holding.
See, when it's working for you, think savings accounts, retirement funds. It's this amazing engine for creating wealth. But when it's working against you on stuff like credit card debt or high-interest loans, it can make what you owe just balloon shockingly fast. It's really that simple. You either earn it or you pay it.
So how does this growth actually get going? Well, to really appreciate compound interest, you've got to meet its much simpler and frankly less exciting cousin, simple interest.
With simple interest, only your initial investment, what we call the principal, ever does any work. You can kind of picture it like a little worker that shovels the exact same pile of cash to you year after year. The new money it makes, it doesn't get to pitch in and help. It just sits on the sidelines, doing nothing.
But compound interest? Oh, this is a total game changer. It's often called interest on interest for a reason. All your earnings from one period get tossed back into the main pot. So this new, bigger pot is what earns interest the next time around. Your money literally starts making its own money.
And this visual just nails the difference, right? Simple interest is like walking up a staircase. It's steady, it's predictable, one step at a time. Compound interest, though, is like a rocket ship. It starts off slow, you might barely notice it, but then it just takes off, accelerating faster and faster over time.
And check this out. This is what happens when you give it time. After 20 years, simple interest has turned your $100 into a respectable $200. But compound interest? It's turned that same $100 into over $670. It's not even a fair fight. Given enough time, that curve will always leave the straight line in the dust.
So how does that acceleration actually work? The absolute best way to picture it is a snowball rolling down a really big hill. It starts out tiny, right? But with every single turn, it picks up more snow, getting bigger and bigger and moving faster and faster.
Let's just walk through it real quick. So year one, your $100 earns $10. Easy. But in year two, you're earning interest on the new, larger amount, $110, so you get $11. Then in year three, you're earning interest on $121. See what's happening? Every year, your earnings grow simply because your starting pile grows. That is the snowball effect in action.
Now, this whole snowball thing isn't just a cool visual. It's all based on math. There's an actual formula that's like the recipe, and it tells you exactly how fast and how big your money snowball can get.
Whoa, okay. Don't let the letters and brackets scare you. I know this looks a little intimidating, but since we've already seen the snowball rolling down the hill, we can actually break this down into its simple ingredients pretty easily. There are really just four main levers you can pull here. You've got P, the principal. That's your starting snowball. Then there's R, the interest rate. That's like how steep the hill is. N is how often it compounds. Is it once a year, or every month, or even every day? And finally, the most powerful one of all, T, for time. That's just how long you let that snowball roll.
All right, so enough with the formulas and analogies. The big question is, how do we take this from something on a screen and make it a real tool in our lives? Well, it all boils down to understanding it with savings and with debt.
When you're saving or investing your money, compound interest is your absolute best friend. Seriously, the whole goal is to get your earnings paid to you as early and as often as you possibly can so that new money can get to work for you right away.
And this chart shows the absolutely incredible result of that. Just look at this breakdown over 20 years. You've got the money you put in, what simple interest would have made you, and then this huge extra chunk from compounding. That's the magic right there. That's wealth that was created purely by your money making more money.
But, and this is a really big but, with debt, that same powerful force becomes your worst enemy. The logic completely flips. Now you want to pay down that starting amount as fast as you can to stop that snowball from rolling downhill and getting bigger
and bigger. And here's a pretty sobering look at the dark side of this whole thing. With a typical high-interest credit card, an unpaid balance can actually double in just 4 years. 4 years! That is that exponential curve working against you, and it can create a debt spiral that is incredibly tough to get out of.
Okay, let's end on something a little more positive, and something that's super useful. It's called the Rule of 72. It's just a quick mental shortcut you can use to get a rough idea of compounding's power. No calculator needed.
It really is this simple. You just take the number 72 and divide it by whatever your annual interest rate is. So an investment that's earning 6% a year, it'll double in about 12 years. If you're getting a 9% return, it'll double in just 8 years. It's a fantastic little trick for just getting a feel for your long-term planning.
And that really brings us to the final question, doesn't it? This engine, compound interest, it's always running. It never shuts off. So now that you know how it works, the key is to make sure that engine is pulling you forward towards your goals and not dragging you backward. Understanding that, well, that's the first and most important step of all.